leave it on and we wouldn't hear it. But he's hearing it.
Oh, fair enough. I don't care.
First question.
All right, first question. All right, first question. Where were you on September 11th, 2001?
I was at home ironing something to wear to school. I
Okay.
had an afternoon assignment.
Okay. And then how did you find out that?
I was watching TV.
You were already watching it?
Yeah, I was watching the news and they were putting it on the news right away.
Okay.
And then they were talking about the fact that they hit the Pentagon.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a friend who's your Uncle Jay's godfather who works at the Pentagon.
Was he at the Pentagon at the
He
time?
was at the Pentagon. They hit this side of the Pentagon, which is where his office was.
Oh.
But he had business on the other side of the building.
Oh, so he got lucky.
He got one. We had just gotten back from vacation out in Seattle on the 10th.
So would that have been like close to like either one of the crashes? Or
Us?
yeah.
No, Seattle, Washington.
Oh, okay. All right.
We were on vacation.
Yeah. So you got lucky not having to be like rerouted.
We would have not been able to get off. They closed all the airports.
Yeah. Okay. Where were you, Grandpa? Where were you on September 11th?
I was putting ductwork in at MSU.
Okay.
And the only thing I thought of when I heard about it is that that's the UN buildings.
Mhm.
That's going to be a bloody one.
Uh,
I didn't know that it was half empty.
it was half empty?
Half, it was more than half empty.
The towers was?
Damn right. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, you're okay.
Yes, they were mostly empty.
Really? I thought they were
There
like
were only
jam-packed.
3,000 people in there, but you know how big that building is.
Yeah.
You think of it, I don't know how big it
Are
is.
you talking United Nations building or the
Wow.
Twin
The
Towers?
3 towers,
Twin.
Twin Towers, whatever it is.
Okay.
How'd you find out that there was only like it was half
That's
empty?
after the fact.
Oh, okay.
But the first comment I made was that could be a bad one
Yeah.
because of the number of people that building would normally hold.
Mhm.
But there was some other reason why they didn't have it full. Was that a Monday?
I think it was.
I think it was because Linda and I just got back from Seattle visiting.
Okay. And then how did you? So a coworker then told you, and then did you?
Well,
Like-
news can travel fast
Yeah.
like that, but it's not always accurate.
Mhm.
Yeah, a coworker told me.
Okay.
Somebody had a radio on.
Yeah. So did you stop work to like watch like the news for it, or
No.
continue? Okay. Well,
I couldn't do anything.
Yeah. I mainly
We
asked
just sit
that.
down, work, talking to each other,
Fair enough.
wondering if this is the beginning of World War III.
Oh.
I doubt it because it's not the Russians that are doing it. It's it's not the Egyptians who were Egyptians.
Muslims.
Saudi Arabians?
No, it was Al Qaeda.
Oh, right.
Well, no, this was back when Osama bin Laden,
Mhm.
who studied in America and was a rich man in his own right, because he was heir to a lot of the oil fortunes over there,
Okay.
and he financed a lot of his own stuff. So I figured that, well, that's probably not going to spread out any further.
Okay. So you weren't really worried about there being another attack.
I'm in Mankato. They ain't going to bomb anything.
Fair enough. How about you, Grandma? Were you worried there was going to be another attack, like beyond like the Pentagon and all the crashings?
Not really. You know, we're too distant from
Yeah.
them as such. Where else could they have hit? I suppose they could have gone to Chicago or
Yeah.
down in Florida, Nassau or something.
L.A. maybe. I don't know.
Eh,
Or was L.A. not that big then?
no, LA has always been big.
Okay. Yeah. Then, basically, kind of how did like the community react to 9/11? Like, what did Mankato itself do?
I came home to take care of the wife and kids.
The social studies classes,
Mhm.
I was at West.
Yeah.
We're discussing it quite heavily. What does this mean? At that time, we didn't have a lot of Arabs or Somalians or any foreign people in school.
Mhm.
And I suppose up at MSU, they must have decided to do some kind of protest, but
Oh.
I wouldn't know on that.
Yeah.
Cousin Mike might know.
Now, as background information, I had about the same amount of enthusiasm for that incident as I did when J.F. Kennedy was shot.
Okay.
I was over in Japan,
Um,
and I said, this ain't going to be a war. Nobody's dumb enough to bump off the president.
yeah.
No national entity, at least that we knew of. And I was on an air base, and the air base went on, well, it wouldn't go on full alert because it was only a transportation air base.
Mhm.
We didn't have the big fighter planes and all that stuff.
How
Besides,
come?
where could the fighter planes run off to? We didn't have any bombers over there, and missiles were not even in the big picture yet. That would have been 1960. 162.
62.
Who?
62.
62, yeah.
Oh,
And we didn't have a lot of missiles running around.
62, yeah.
I don't know.
So I didn't get all upset about that one either. Nobody's dumb enough to start a war.
Yeah. Yeah. Nowadays they're pretty dumb to start a war.
Oh, wait, I don't know. Go next question.
Let's see. What was, in your opinion, kind of like the worst moment of like the whole 9/11 like attacks? Like, what part like hit home the most for you? I guess.
Watching the people come out from the buildings or the firefighters all covered in ash and stuff.
Yeah.
And one of Nancy's friends, her husband was supposed to be in the towers that morning, but the meeting got delayed.
Oh, so you got lucky.
He got lucky, yep.
Well, it's kind of crazy that we have so many people kind of near us that got lucky.
Yeah.
And yeah,
My turn.
yeah. It's your turn. What was the worst moment?
Well, I can't see. I don't have worse moments like that.
Really?
But I was going to remark that I was encouraged to hear that there was a Minnesotan on that plane in Pennsylvania.
Really?
And he was not necessarily a leader, but he was in the group that decided to take down the plane rather than let it crash into a building
Oh.
in a big city.
Yeah.
So they gave up their lives. And I'm proud to say that he was a Minnesotan.
Fair
Don't
enough.
know him.
Mhm.
It was terrible, but that was a letdown.
Yeah.
I don't care if Texas people died. I don't like Minnesotans dying.
Fair enough.
No, there were a lot of heroes those days.
Yeah. Did you guys like know anyone else that was like very impacted by the towers crashing and stuff?
No, just
Okay.
peripheral.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, the only one you
other
knew
than
was Craig.
Craig Deering was the guy who was in the Pentagon.
Okay.
We might have known somebody back there, but that's a long time ago.
Yeah.
We didn't know you were coming along and were going to ask us a bunch of questions that we should.
We
jot
should just
to-
write these all down so that when Will gets around,
I can just keep the sheet of paper for him. Nah, he'll have to make his own questions. This is my sheet of questions. Did you guys kind of have like a hard time like understanding what was going on, or like why it was happening, or did you kind of like understand?
Well, that's difficult for us to do
Yeah.
because you only get partial information spread out over a long period of time.
Yeah.
Now you come along and ask a question that covers all of that time,
Yeah.
and that's difficult to do for people.
Oh yeah.
You have to. I didn't think there was anything major about it.
Mhm.
I thought at the time that that was a brilliant move.
Really?
Well, yeah. What better bomb can you have than one of the larger jets full of fuel?
I mean, I guess, yeah.
And I knew this because I'm in the building, or in the building that I was working on.
Mhm.
I get to see all the stuff before it's covered up.
Oh.
And all that steel that's in all of those buildings is covered by a fire retardant.
Okay. So that that would make it combust faster, or
No, it would insulate it from the heat.
okay.
And I don't know how a brick building starts on fire in the first place.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of furniture and other things in there. But it insulates the members. They spray the steel structure.
Mhm.
Everything above the ceiling is sprayed. Everything in the walls is sprayed. Everything in the floors are sprayed
Mhm.
with that stuff. So it slows down the progression so that more people have a chance to get out.
Okay.
And I'm thinking, well, that's that, and it's a good thing that they had fewer people in there.
Mhm.
And I think I would concentrate on that. Why were there fewer people there?
Yeah. Like, were they warned beforehand, or
No.
well, yeah, no, but like,
If it's a Monday and different, they might not have meetings or
yeah.
who knows. And we gotta remember, when we were watching, we only got our TV by antenna.
Mhm.
So we had 4, 5, and 12, 9, and 11, just the basic ones.
Yeah.
So most of our information came from whatever news they put on there. Not like when you're watching it now, it's 24/7, you get the news.
Mhm.
Breaking news. That was yesterday.
It's just that in Minnesota, our area right here, we're not concerned with a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
There are no air bases around. We do have a couple of minor targets.
Mhm.
They won't take the first salvo, but a lot that comes after it. Just go out there and look at those oil tanks out there. Plus, we've got a main gas line that runs right through here. So you've got those things that might go, and we also have a lot of technology that the Cato tool out there.
Mhm.
That builds generators for the Navy's aircraft carriers and submarines and anything else that
That's
wants.
Cato Engineering, isn't it?
Your uncle James
That's it.
worked out there and built them,
Okay.
tested them, blew a couple up.
Which is not,
That
it
was
has
his
nothing to
job.
do with what you're asking us about. He's off on a tangent there.
Yeah, but it's good knowledge.
Yes.
Mm. Yeah. Then yeah, was it hard? Was it hard for you? Or I can't remember what question I asked. But...
I don't think so.
Mhm.
Because we're too far away from it
Yeah. See,
as such.
you guys were definitely thinking a lot more logically than I would have. I would have definitely been like a lot more emotional. Like, oh, is it gonna be us next? If that was like me during the time.
Well, but you gotta remember, we were older at
Yeah.
that time. That we were in our 50s. That's 23 years ago, so
That happened in when?
2001.
Oh, I was even old back then.
Well, you gotta-
Yeah, well, no, the youngsters, they don't know what's going on.
Mhm.
It's really hard for them. And as a teenager, they automatically don't trust other people
Yeah.
to a certain degree. And they don't know that, well, do you have an understanding just how far New York is from Mankato?
No, I've got no clue, honestly.
Know how long it takes to get from there to here? Now let's throw on across the ocean. Now let's throw on the other side of the Europe, the eastern part of Europe. That's a long way. The only way to get to us, they could have submarines out there. They have a lot of submarines that go into the water, under the ice, and they have their rockets.
Yeah.
The question there is, and it's true for America and any other country, how many of the missiles actually work,
Probably.
and how many targeting solutions actually work? They can be shooting missiles over here, they'll make it here, but they might be aiming them at Rochester or Minneapolis, but they should hit Mankato. And they call that close.
I mean,
Those are the things that we think about.
yeah.
But youngsters don't think about that. And also, youngsters don't think about the probability of something. I've given up on the possibilities. So many things are so possible. But what's the probability?
Probably like 10% maybe.
Who?
10% or less.
Well,
Fair.
are you aware that they have what they call a doomsday clock?
No.
Oh, go look it up, girl. They have a doomsday clock. It goes from 5 minutes to 12. No, it goes from 11:55 to midnight. And the closer it is to midnight, it's only 5 minutes. The closer it is to midnight, the higher the tension.
Yeah.
And the higher the ratings are for what DEFCON 1, DEFCON 2, DEFCON 3, and all that kind of garbage. Hey, you can learn a lot from movies.
Yeah. You okay, Grandpa?
Yes.
Okay, that takes care of that.
He's okay. He's just
And I'm hoping that the unknown factor in all of this is one thing. Who's going to fire the rockets?
I mean, at this point in time, Russia, if anyone.
Who?
Who?
Who? Will they?
It's possible.
Incidentally, do you know how many missiles China has?
No, I don't.
They are probably, I'm thinking it's less than 100
Okay.
intercontinental ballistic missiles. They're the smart ones. We spend all that money on ballistic missiles, and we can't use them. And same thing with Russia. They build all those nuclear weapons, and the probability of them using them is pretty slim.
Is it going to be total annihilation if you use it at all?
Oh, I got a feeling, I've had this a long time, I don't think the world will cease to exist
Really?
just because everybody blows up their nukes. Like I said, how many nukes actually go off? And what are all the other circumstances?
Yeah.
We can survive it.
you
I
moved
will.
You moved to South America.
I'm too
Oh.
old. But there are people out there that are survivalists. They have subterranean strongholds where they've got it supplied with food, water, guns, and medicine, and everything else.
Yeah.
And they're all over. There's some in Minnesota. I don't know where they're all at. But you take them out in Colorado, there's a bunch out there. Matter of fact, they even have people living in, I think it's Montana or it could be Idaho. They bought up an old Minuteman or a big missile silo that they discontinued. So they just built their home in that.
I mean, I guess use it.
Well, it makes sense. So anyway, those are the things I look at.
Yeah.
Is what's probability? Next. And she's not writing any of this down.
Oh no, because I'm
I wonder
recording
what her
it.
She's
version is.
recording it.
I'm having it recorded.
Are you taking a recording?
Yeah, it's all recording.
Oh, because I thought maybe you're just gonna freelance it and I'd like to read what your answers are.
I am not. Well, I'll go down and like rewrite like all of it, like for whatever format the teacher wants us to have it written down in. But for me, I'm a really bad like note taker with just like having talk. I take in more information just by listening. I don't know.
Yeah, but you'll remember it, I don't.
Fair.
Okay, next.
Let's see. I don't know. Oh, how was the world different after like 9/11? Like what changed? What was like the big changes that you could like see?
A lot of people were pissed off.
Okay. Just mainly that.
That's a big part of it.
Yeah.
You got all these people out there that think, oh, that's politics, and we're not going to get into that.
Well, that's the whole point of this class.
No, just think about your version of 9/11 would be something similar to what the Palestinians did in Israel.
Mhm.
What would you think if somebody came in here, threw a bunch of people into cars and on bikes and everything else, shot a bunch of them and did untellable things to a lot of others, and took them all back over there? Now they won't give them up because they want to put pressure on somebody, even if they have to kill everybody to do it.
Yeah, I'd feel angry too. Angry, disappointed, probably as well.
And as you get older, you wonder, well, why are all these stupid people trying to run things?
Yeah, it doesn't make logical sense.
That's correct.
Mm.
I think the change
Mhm.
in attitude was happened to us
Mhm.
in America. We somewhere far away, it doesn't affect us.
Yeah.
But now it was there, so now they have more looking for different people that come over and train, because these guys, some of them trained in the U.S. to fly, and so they look out for more of that kind of stuff. And unfortunately for the Arabs and those guys, since they're the ones that did it, people kind of look at them more than anybody else.
Yeah. Do you think that people still do that to this day?
Oh, sure.
You think it's because of 9/11 or just racism in general?
It's just a continuation. That would be kind of more the start, since that's where it affected us to start with. But they still look at people.
Yeah.
We think back a little farther, before you were even born,
Mhm.
which isn't really too long ago.
Only 17 years.
Well, we had that, Linda will fill you in on the details, but down in Oklahoma,
Mhm.
2 terrorists, which happened to have been American citizens, blew half a building up,
Really?
killing 100 people,
Mhm.
as a protest to something.
What?
McVie, I think his name was.
What I'm saying is, that's been blown up. We've had ships blown up over in the Middle East.
Mhm.
We've had consulates and all of that stuff. They're blowing up. All this stuff has happened. You have to go back in history and figure that out.
Yeah.
You only think back to what, 15 years ago?
Yeah, 15, not
Well,
even.
I go back 75 years at least.
Jeez.
The first 75 don't count. But no, that stuff has been going on, and I've always gotten a kick out of these people, and this really has happened. But when Trump was president, he took a trip over to visit with Kim Jong-un.
Mhm.
Okay, while he was over there, they were trying to negotiate for peace and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
Well, some people were saying, well, why don't we just give the Koreans those goodies that they want, which are raw materials, so that they can build their big bombs. They don't feed their citizens with it.
Yeah.
And they says, well, we need to feed our food. We want feed our people food. We want medicine for our people.
Mhm.
We want this and we want that. Cut your sanctions. They won't give up their bomb, but they want us to do all of that. And then you got these people that believe that, well, we should give them another chance. No, they've already had 4 chances.
4 now?
At least 4.
Okay.
You know, that's including the old man and his grandfather. They say, well, we got to give them a chance. Maybe they'll negotiate this. They won't.
Yeah.
And how many chances can you give them?
Not many.
You know, that's true also of any other country that we deal with.
Yeah.
If you want to start a war and get paid for it, start one with the United States. They'll come in and pay for the war
Yeah.
after you get done, whether they win or lose,
I guess, yeah.
because we're dopes. Yeah, we do not have good foreign policy experts that really know how to negotiate and when to give in and when not to. We don't have those people.
What do you think that is?
Why?
Yeah.
We're Americans. Hey, no, that's part of it. That's our mentality.
So we're supposedly better than everyone? Like, I don't know.
I think he's referring to the fact that we have.
We don't
more-
like wars and that, so we'll do anything to settle them so that we can go on and make big money.
Oh.
And it turns right around and bites us in the butt every single time.
Yeah, because don't we literally make money from the wars? Didn't
Well,
we?
they make it because of the war and they make it after the war.
Yeah.
They make money all the time.
Mhm.
First of all, they got paid to make up a bunch of munitions.
Yeah.
Then these countries go out and blow them all up. Then they say, we got to have more because we don't have any. So now they build them more.
It's a
It's a
vicious
never-ending
cycle.
circle.
Yeah.
And that's got a lot to do with it. These people that want to think that you can negotiate your way out of, well, the Korean deal,
Mhm.
Venezuelan deal, Iran, Afghanistan, they were both failures.
Mhm.
Vietnam is not as big of a failure as we thought it was.
Really?
They're more friendly to us than what the Afghanistans were or are. And it's just the mentality. If you talk to Brother Charles, he would tell you that they're living in the 12th century. The mentality is in the 12th century.
Afghanistan's or
All
you
these
know?
countries.
Okay.
Putin is so far behind the times. He's still thinking that he can go slugfest because he's big, strong guy.
Okay,
Now he's finding out, and the news on the news that he found out that he can't fight a defensive war at the same time as he can an offensive war.
Yeah.
You got that little country of Ukraine that's going to come around and kick him in the shins every time.
Yeah.
And it's also said that, how'd they state that? They're claiming that we are claiming that the war has already been ended.
Mhm.
Putin just hasn't figured that out yet. He has so many weapons
Mhm.
because he, instead of building things for his people, he says, I'm building more weapons.
Yeah.
Well, he can't use his nukes. He can't use his submarines there because it's a landlocked country, except for the Black Sea.
Yeah. Why would he be building submarines?
Why?
Yeah.
To counter our submarines in the Arctic, the Pacific, and the Atlantic.
Yeah, but we're not allowed to attack them at the moment.
but we
Why
still
don't
get to
what?
have the ships.
Yes.
He has no aircraft carriers.
Really?
He had 2 of them. He sold one to, no, he had 3 of them. He sold one to India because the Russians couldn't make it work right. Sold another one to the Chinese because it couldn't make that one right. And the last one he had, I think he sunk it because he couldn't get it. They got it all prepped to go into the, from over by England.
Yeah.
That's where it was housed. He got it all fixed up, wanted to send it up to the Arabs area so that he could project some world air power up there. Well, they had to send 2 tugboats with it. It's using an outdated fuel that is very corrosive, and they can't get anything to work. Twice now, they've already burned holes through the whole deck and on down to the 4 or 5 floors.
Oh my god.
You go start reading
I don't know.
She has enough trouble reading what she's got.
Yeah, reading the news just makes me sad. That's why I don't read it.
All right, we gotta move you along.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't like moaning and groaning. in front of other people.
No, that's yeah. No, I think I probably have like enough.
You?
Probably.
I haven't even gotten started yet.
Really?
No, he's gonna do
What else you got?
He's gonna do,
I don't really have any
he's
other.
gonna do everything else but.
No,
9/11.
this is background information.
Yeah.
And that's political only from the point of view that that's how you understand politics.
Mhm.
And we want to teach you to understand and teach yourself things.
Yeah.
Not always just go by what some jerk puts on the TV. He's a Republican, but all he does is listen to Fox.
I mean, that seems boring. Because don't they?
Repeat the same stuff.
Yeah.
I don't even talk politics unless I know they're Democrats.
Oh.
I just don't think it's worth my while. He's nearly blind.
Oh.
He's bedridden for the most part. And he's overweight by about 150 pounds maybe.
How? If he's bedridden.
Because he's bedridden, he gets no exercise.
He's a diabetic. You don't get exercise. You eat the wrong foods.
Mhm.
That's a policy down there at that nursing home.
Mhm.
No salt in your diet means they take the salt shaker off your table. You and I both know that there's a lot of salt infused in food that is being cooked.
Yeah, that's dumb. If it's only to like the stuff that's placed on the table, that's stupid. I don't know.
And the reason they do that is because they use the thought process that, well, most of them are so old they won't know the difference. And they're going to die pretty soon anyway.
That's gross. I don't know.
So it's a whole world of difference.
Yeah.
But you're lucky. You got a good grandfather and grandmother. And Dory.
And Dory.
How's Dory getting along?
Oh, Dory's doing pretty good. She's vibing.
Don't forget now to get her a little birthday present.
Her birthday is Monday.
Monday. Okay.
His birthday and Dory's and Pat
Mhm.
and his cousin Bobby and Bob are all on the 9th.
Oh, that's kind of convenient though.
10th, I'm
That's-
sorry.
The one thing that
I
she
should have
doesn't
said
remember.
9/10/41, I would have read.
Oh, because September. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, that was the other thing is on the way back, we didn't hear about that until 9/11
Mhm.
because we came back on the 9th or the 8th.
We were there,
We were here, so we weren't affected by any airplane lockdowns or
Yeah.
closures. That's all that is.
Yeah.
But as far as that article I sent you, that's one from Charles.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't see any of that. You should ask your dad if it was during the Reagan era.
Mhm.
And everybody thought Ronald Reagan was one of our better presidents.
Yeah, I keep hearing that he was.
Well, evidently he wasn't.
what year was that? 82?
I don't know when.
I don't remember. If
Got
you
your
think
phone
it,
there?
if you think it was,
Yeah, I got my phone there.
if you think it's between certain times, how old was Lee? How old was Jay at that time? They were in grade school.
Well, why don't you just go over your computer real quick and look up what is it?
When he was president, you mean?
Whatever date you're looking for, look it up. You expect me to come up with it? My brain don't work that way.
Doesn't work.
And I certainly don't remember a lot of stuff back there.
Mhm.
Like I say, I was over in Japan when Kennedy was killed. And I think that was much to do about nothing. And that, yeah, we had to go on alert. My base was put on alert.
Mhm.
But I worked in a hospital,
Yeah.
and we didn't have
81 to 80.
we didn't have any kind of military stuff on it.
Yeah, 81 to 89.
Okay.
So Jay graduated in 89.
Oh,
So
so basically middle school and
my
high
dad
school.
would have been just, he graduated in 91.
Yeah.
So they were just in high school now.
All right.
You always go back into your history to look at things.
Yeah, because things tend to kind of repeat themselves.
Oh,
almost.
absolutely. I still hear this chronic cry for, so that it never happens again. Everything is going to happen again.
Yeah.
We're human.
It's a repetitive life cycle.
I'm sorry, what?
It's a repetitive life cycle.
It is. People think that if they correct it or they tell us people about things, it'll never happen again. It'll keep on happening and happening. Now we're better off than we were in the Middle Ages.
Mm-hmm.
You see all the cleaned up stuff when you watch TV. Watch some of the old World II movies. I've been inundated by World War II movies. It's one of the first things that came out that they put on TV.
Why?
Because they didn't have all this other stuff.
Oh, yeah.
They generated stuff. They took lots and lots of films, so kept making documentaries. And if you watch them long enough, the same people occur on them, different actors. I don't know how many people have played Dwight David Eisenhower or General MacArthur. I like the war period because I like airplanes and those things,
Yeah.
tanks and all that stuff.
Oh, the big heavy artillery.
Oh, it was made.
Heavy artillery.
It's a big heavy machinery that wasn't really like kind of I guess around when you like were born almost.
And I was in Civil Air Patrol, as was she, and we got to play with World War II radios.
Oh.
Boy, did they have it bad. Nowadays, you just whip your phone out and you can do it.
Yeah.
I played with Geiger counters too. Geiger counters.
Yeah, we got to play with Geiger counters.
Uh,
Hey, I ran the motor pool in Mankato for a while.
What's that?
They
16,
drove the,
17 years old, 18
he
maybe.
drove the Civil Air Patrol bus.
Oh.
The bus. We had a 6x truck. We had a Jeep.
We didn't
You
have
had a
it by the,
pickup?
we didn't have it by the time. I
Well,
was
maybe
in.
not when you. Remember, we cracked them all up and we sold them for junk. No, one time during the snowstorm. I was home. This is well after I was, well, I was not out of it. It was down around Christmas time.
Mhm.
My mother was worked downtown.
Mhm.
And she has to walk 2 blocks and then stand out in the cold to catch her bus.
Yeah.
So, hell with it. I'll drive the bus down there and get her.
I mean that's fun though.
I got her in the bus, drove it down there, picked her up, got home. And another time, had a friend that lived out on that road to the ski haven.
Mhm.
I'd take the bus out there or a Jeep out there and pick him up and his brother and bring them back.
I mean that's a cool use of old machinery though.
What did you
Yeah.
think
We had radios.
of George Deering
Yeah.
and Barry Gleist?
No,
Craig.
George and Craig. They were in it at the same time.
Yeah.
Not long. They weren't real gumshoes about it. So yeah, that's the stuff you guys don't know about.
Craig was in it.
We had
from
something to do up Minneapolis. You got to drive the bus up there for students.
Oh.
Now, do they allow that this time?
Ooh.
An 18-year-old or 17, 18, maybe I was 19, I don't remember. The one on the service one, I think it was 19.
Mhm.
So, you don't just get in a bus and drive it up there. A bunch of kids. You had lots of fun.
Yeah. We're a lot more restrictive
But
now.
you kids can't do that kind of stuff anymore.
Yeah. Well, it's because it's dangerous.
There was a cartoon on Facebook
Mhm.
about these guys were in heaven.
Yeah.
And the guy says, they don't seem to be happy. All they're doing is staring at their hands. I just thought, yep.
Yeah.
And I've heard somebody saying, like, how many kids are going to have back problems and neck problems.
I've already got major, like, shoulder problems. But that's also, like, partially from the backpack being so heavy. I think it's just my bones being bad, too, so.
It must come on your mom's side.
Yeah. We'll just blame everyone.
Carried all that memory in your brain.
I can't do that. I probably got my memory from you.
I hope not, girl. You got a tough life.
I know.
As Jason,
So that's what, you
you got a
know,
computer, you're okay.
Yeah.
that's were some of my better times in life.
It all has its ups and downs, for sure.
Hmm?
It all has its ups and downs, for sure.
Oh, yeah. Goes up, it goes down.
Would you say we're in an up or a down?
Are we now?
Yeah. Like, now in current day, 2020, 4?
Well, that's not how it works. It can be an up time for you and a down time for somebody else.
Okay, but in general.
And you're living in the same time period,
Mhm.
the same area, the same block. Heck, we have the same household. Do we have good times? Well, we've got really good times
Mhm.
because we're not dependent on anybody.
Yeah. Don't
And
rely
that's saying a lot, because there are a lot of people that are not in as good a position as we are.
Mhm.
A lot of them have a little better health situation than I do.
Yeah.
But aside from that, I don't know. Times change. Pick the best of it. So I say, you want to stay away from lawyers and doctors.
Why doctors?
And if you're sick, something wrong with you, they can't always fix it.
Yeah.
All they do is tell you to go home, rest, drink plenty of fluids, and take 2 of these pills.
Yeah,
and I
no.
think they cure you. And they don't.
That just frustrates me. I don't know. I don't even know how you'd go about making, like, the medical system better.
How you feel about what?
How you would go about even making the medical system better? Like, I don't know, making it so, like, non-privatized that I guess, like, it wouldn't be influenced by, like, the doctors or anyone's own opinions, but by the medical needs of the patient more so. I don't know. Because it still feels like a lot of, like, bias is put into, like, the medical care.
Oh,
system.
there always will be.
Mhm.
Well, that's not to say there always will be. We live in a better world today than what some of the days previous to that is.
Yeah.
Just, I don't know, what kind of shows you watch? Watch any westerns?
No, not really.
Well, if you watch a couple of westerns, that's a little closer to home.
Mhm.
And you just watch them and you say, well, that doesn't make sense. They didn't have that stuff in there. You look at them and they're out traveling from place to place.
Mhm.
Well, what do they eat?
Berries, fish.
Like sometimes they're in the middle of winter. It's
It's
not like they
snow.
stop off at Hardee's or McDonald's and pick up a hamburger and French fries.
Yeah.
They're eating stuff that, well, about kept them alive, and that was it.
Mhm.
And then just think about having to live out there with the outhouse. That's another good one. That's not the most fun thing to be doing it, shall we say, 2 o'clock in the morning, with the wolves howling and the wind howling
Jeez.
and the moon blinking at you.
Why is the moon blinking at you?
Clouds going by.
Oh, I guess.
And the wind. The wind is blowing the.
I thought you were gonna say. I thought you were gonna say like the wind was blowing the moon.
And then you go home and you home and dad and mom and dad say, well, should we read you a vampire story? And then they,
It's going extremes.
well, at least I can make a story sound good.
Yeah.
Anything else you got, girl?
I don't think so. I don't know. Think you should-
What?
Thank you for letting me interview you guys.
Well, anytime we need somebody intelligent to talk to,